Welcome to the 70th weekly episode of Marked Out Radio. We are the premier podcast focused on the hobby of collecting autographs and photo ops from celebrities, or those who aren't quite celebrities. We talk about autograph conventions, on-the-street encounters, and everything else about this increasingly insane hobby. I'm Sean.
And I'm Dana.
And today we have some follow-up on the Reese Witherspoon book tour thing that she did with Harlan Coben. You know, we were kind of lamenting last week the overall process, but then we did say it worked out okay. But we have to say things changed, circumstances changed on the ground for those who got their photo ops in the subsequent stops after New York.
Yeah, ever since they left New York, they sort of changed the positioning of the fan in the meet and greet photo op. When we got it, we were smack dab in the middle between Reese and Harlan, which made for a nice, easy crop, which for people in this hobby, when you have the famous person that you actually pay to meet, and then, I'm not going to discredit him, he is a pretty popular author, but, you know, not the person we wanted to meet, you want to have the ability to crop.
Yeah, I mean, that's the first thing pretty much all of us did when we posted to social media was do the crop.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say, though, like, unlike the Russell Crowe event where, like, I cropped people in that photo that I'd never even laid eyes on while cropping. That's how stretched out that assortment of bodies was. Harlan, I at least, like, made eye contact with him while I was cropping.
So yeah, we were able to crop, and then it looks like after New York, they stuck the fan next to Harlan and then the Reese next to Harlan, so you couldn't crop.
Yeah, and a buddy of mine, he went to the Nashville stop, and the second, like, there were two stops between New York and Nashville. One was South Carolina, and I'm blanking on what the other one was. I don't think it really matters for the story. And we've been talking regularly about the possibility of, you know, was that just like a one-off thing? Was it a change in practice? And it turned out it was a change in practice because my friend waited and made sure he was the last one online. And he actually made the awkward ice-breaking of asking to not stand next to Harlan, but rather stand next to Reese. And Harlan's answer was rules would not allow that to happen.
Wow. Talk about, you know, answering the passive rules as if they don't make the rules.
Yeah.
So interesting.
And then our little talk after that was this simply like a vanity thing because they realized that almost every photo uploaded was cropping him out and they didn't want that? Or was Reese just completely disgusted from having to have her like shoulder blades touched by the disgusting fans like, you know, you and I?
Yeah, to be fair, I didn't touch her. Did you touch her?
I touched her shoulder blade. Perhaps I'm the reason that perhaps I broke the whole algorithm.
There you go. I don't know. I don't know what that is. I think it's one of those. It's such a it engenders such ill will among your fans. I mean, I guess there's a couple of groups. First, there's the group who just won't care. They're just excited to be in her proximity. You know, that's one sort of contingent. Then there's the people like us. What do you do in that scenario?
Well, what I do in that scenario is I would break several validity rules to Class 316, and I would simply move myself close to her in Photoshop, post-processing, and as far as I'm concerned, if it's in the frame, it's in the game. And any adjustments you do is no different than what photographers do for wedding photos and what have you. So that's what I would do. Someone like Class would have an aneurysm. My buddy is kind of in the middle where I think he's willing to do the fix, but he doesn't like it. So he's not thrilled about it, but I think he's willing to do what needs to be done. How about you?
I would definitely be pissed in the moment. Definitely in the moment.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure what to do in that moment, you know?
I mean, I think what he did is largely all you can do. And I think a lot of collectors wouldn't even have the gumption to do that. He did it. He was rejected. And I think at that point, you're stuck with whatever the outcome is. I imagine, because I'm imagining New York was probably grapher heavier than most of these other stops. So I'm sure what we saw in New York that wasn't graphers, it was all the like pre-menopausal women. I imagine each and every one of those women around the country don't care. So for that sect of the population, they're not going to care about it. It's just whatever nut jobs like us are sort of scattered around the country that are going to care. So this is literally, again, one of those little nuances of this insane hobby that I think the marked out radio listeners would care about more than the average lunatic just going to the meet and greet.
I mean, let's say you're in that moment, you just do it. You don't try and get a refund or anything.
I mean, you're going completely rogue at that point. I mean, are you going to actually call your credit card and explain how it's invalid? I mean, how would that work? I don't know. Like, you're paying for a meet and greet with Reese and Harlan and a photo with Reese and Harlan, and you're getting a photo with Reese and Harlan. Like, maybe I'm missing opportunities here to do chargebacks when I don't even think about it. Like, what would the angle be?
I just ask in the moment.
I guess. I mean, I think I would just... I mean, if it was going to be a situation of get a refund and don't get the photo, I would take the photo and just fix it after the fact. I'd rather do that than not have it.
That's fair.
But yeah, it goes to show, and I'm not really advocating if there's a local stop of something coming around. I'm not telling you to fly across the country to do it sooner, but the way we kind of got screwed on the Russell Crowe, where Europe was bringing like full suits of armor, and we got one per, sort of the combo gods gave back to us by giving us the first Reese stop. So, you win some and you lose some, but being early to the party on these types of events is always helpful. Or if not always, I think that, most of the time.
It's often helpful to be early. The earlier you are in the tour, the more likely it is that the rules haven't been firmly entrenched yet, I guess is the best way to put it.
Agreed.
So that's Reese Witherspoon in a nutshell. Let's see, what else? In other news, there was a Married with Children cast reunion that got people very pumped because Christina Applegate was going to make an appearance, and there was some rumblings about a possible meet and greet, and all that went down in flames when tickets came out and there was no meet and greet attached.
Yeah, I mean, talk about disappointment stemming from an on-stage experience. Listener Richard has been keeping me abreast of the situation. He straight up called the organizers of the event out in California and was told flat out there would not be a meet and greet. So I don't think this is going to be going on the road. I don't think if you are a meet and greet only carer, like I am, I couldn't care less about seeing this event without a meet and greet. And I know you would sleep through it. It's not for us. It's not for, the diehard combo collector, unfortunately. Because, I mean, a lot of those people seem like natural people that would really hit the scene. I mean, Applegate's sick, and O'Neill is loaded and miserable. I guess that's really what it comes down to, but no such luck.
Yeah, it's one of those things that they could print money by having one, but they don't really need money, or
no.
At least the ones who you need to do the convincing don't need any money.
Oh, I mean, Bud Bundy, David Faustina would probably decapitate his aunt if it could get that tour going, because he certainly needs money, and that would be the highest profile thing he's ever done. But I mean, the other three, whatever.
That's true. Well, the other three, the other three have money and also just really don't like meeting fans.
No,
that's another way to say it.
Katie is sort of active now on her own terms, but I mean, she's always good for a cancellation. And she also doesn't do a ton of these. If you're going to commit even to one, I mean, you're going to commit to a tour a la Macaulay Culkin. I mean, I don't think she would even want to sign up for that.
No, I know. It's a lost cause, I think, with this Married with Children. Honestly, I hate to say it, ever since Christina got sick, it just I think the casket is closed on a serious attempt at a meet and greet with this cast, and also, frankly, Ed being so powerful and so rich after doing Modern Family, it's not realistic.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think Modern Family is the Paul Bearer in this situation, even before the illness of Christina, because he at this point has syndication on syndication. I mean, he's good, I'm sure, and he also hates fans, so he would have to be literally begging on the street corner, I think, to want to incorporate fans into his daily life.
That's just not realistic. Even when he's never done signings in the past, it's always been private signings. So.
Yep. Oh well. Would you have flown out if there was a meet and greet?
It's hard to answer. I think I probably would have convinced myself to fly out for a meet and greet. Yeah, for a show like Married with Children, I would. Which is, I know that contradicts stuff I've been saying the past couple of weeks, but it's one of those reunions that I think it's one of the last true great shows that hasn't had a reunion meet and greet, and it would be awesome.
Yeah, I think in and of myself, if you would be strong and say I'm not going, I don't think I ever would. But I think once you were in motion, I think the FOMO would probably push me to do it. So on some level, I'm actually relieved.
So it's funny. We had joked about when they had announced for Chill Out Con the option to have dinner with Gene Simmons. We had joked about publicly and privately that we hoped someone from our group would get the package so they could talk about it, but we weren't too optimistic that anyone would. And lo and behold, we had someone who not only did, but then his post went mega viral.
Oh yeah, super, super viral. Alex shared his experience of breaking bread with the Kiss demon himself, Gene Simmons, and he reported a few hiccups along the way as far as the communication leading up to the event. I know he was a little bit anxious, as I would understand, because I mean, you're talking big money here. I think it was $2,500, and he wasn't sure, I think, up until that morning, like when and where it would actually be taking place. But he reached out to Tom. I believe he said Tom gave him his phone number and was in contact from there on out. And he said that the experience that Gene really made it worthwhile, and the interaction was great. Gene is a pro. Gene absolutely gets it. Their style, as far as how they carry themselves, it's very pro wrestling, and he seems to get it on a level that a lot of the big rock stars don't. Maybe they don't care to, or they just can't. I don't really know what it is, but he's a pro at these meet and greets. They've done so many of them, and he sort of knows how to turn it on when he needs to. And Alex said it was a complete hit. He felt his money was well spent. I believe it included 3 autographs done to the nines, and everything he posted looks great.
Yeah, and it's definitely true that when people have unique experiences, they attract a lot of attention.
Yeah, and I believe he said there were 20 or 25, I forget the exact number, people at this event. So I mean, you're looking at like $50,000 just from the dinner with Gene. So these types of concepts, where I think a lot of the sort of casuals and the interlopers will sort of roll their eyes and be like, "Oh wow, that's crazy. Who would do that?" Or no one's going to do that. People did that, and I mean, if you factored in the autographs and the photo op from the table prices, you're looking at maybe an extra $1,000 or so to the experience of it all. Which, if you are a big fan of that performer, I think that experience is well worth it. So it's definitely interesting to see that the luxury experience, as we've been talking about in the last couple of months rather heavily on here, there is definitely a market for the luxury experience.
No question. And that's, we're going to see more of these. My prediction is more and more and more. This is the future of meet and greets. I know, Kiss was always on the vanguard of this, and this is no different.
Yeah, I mean, as heavily as we've both been complaining about wanting to work more with musical acts, Kiss has sort of been on the precipice of that since the beginning. I would argue they are probably the first people to walk on the moon, so to speak, as far as musicians really going hard with it. And I mean, Gene will keep this going until he drops dead, without question.
Maybe even after.
Hopefully.
Wasn't there that joke that there was a Kiss coffin that was for sale? I'm pretty sure Kiss at one point was selling a coffin as official merchandise.
That's smart. That would definitely be smart.
Mm.
In other news from Chiller, Andrew posted some really sick stuff from Garrett Morris that he got done. Saturday Night Live merchandise with some awesome inscriptions. Did you get a chance to check that out?
No, I didn't. I did not.
You still got to explain to the listeners, where you are recording from today, which explains why you've been out of the loop a little bit.
Yeah, I'm totally out of the loop. By the time you hear this, it'll be irrelevant. But I am actually recording this from Zurich, Switzerland. So we're operating on a huge time difference here. It's very late at night, and so if I am fading at any point, that is why. But I'm doing my best to be here to serve you.
Okay. And then Danny shared some awesome photos as well from Chiller and Chill Out. And I think, honestly, the overwhelming theme from a lot of these reports, most of these reports, is that everyone had a good time. We had all that drama and the bickering and the back and forth and all the different stuff from the, organizationally of the two sort of like contending cons. But I mean, for the fans, it seems like it was basically a complete win. And speaking of complete wins, we had Jeremiah, good old Jerry himself. He donned a hot dog suit to meet Joey Chestnut.
Yeah, I was. I mean, maybe I shouldn't be, but I was surprised at the amount of excitement around the appearance of Joey Chestnut. Apparently, being able to just shovel an unlimited number of hot dogs down your gullet is something that is interesting. But I mean, whatever, I guess. But it definitely, there were a lot of people who were super excited for Joey Chestnut, and going so far as to get in costume to meet him.
I mean, did you ever think you'd see Jerry donning like a spandex hot dog suit?
To be fair, yes.
That is pretty reasonable. No, I agree with you. I thought it kind of had the spirit of Chiller, and seeing like when they were announced, I really had no interest in meeting them. Me personally, I'm not sitting at home on it's 4th of July, right? I think when they do this, the hot dog eating contest.
Oh, I couldn't even tell. I honestly, gun to my head, I have no idea what this really even is. I know it. I know there is a hot dog eating contest. Beyond that, I don't know anything about it.
But yeah, people were like asking him questions like, what's the most number of chicken nuggets you ate, or how many Easy Macs can you eat? Like, I guess that's fascinating to people. I'm not sure. I had no interest, but listen, this gave us Jerry in a hot dog suit, so I am appreciative of Joey Chestnut for that. That may be one hot dog Joey was not able to consume.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe that could be the story of the weekend. It's funny. I was just thinking about this because I don't see it on here. Are we going to talk about the Facebook provocation between the two cons after the fact?
Yeah, let's do it.
So there was something, and I'm going to be honest. I was in the midst of packing for and preparing for my trip to Zurich here, so I missed some of it at least. But is it true that somehow Dennis Rodman, there was some kind of shenanigans on the part of Chiller where someone led people to believe on social media that Dennis Rodman would be appearing at Chiller? Did I see that correctly?
You did not. You did see that correctly. They posted, I believe it was Friday night or Thursday night. I forget which night, but probably Thursday night. They posted a picture and they said Dennis Rodman chilling at Chiller or hanging out at Chiller, whatever it was. And I believe he was simply having dinner at the restaurant that is in that hotel. Someone from Chiller saw that, took a picture, and posted it. And then Tom Unger posted that on our group, poking fun at Chiller for making that post. And allegedly, I don't think I ever saw a fan say this, but the word going around was that at least one fan purchased a ticket to Chiller expecting to find Dennis Rodman due to their post, and then Chiller refused to refund them because Dennis Rodman wasn't there. Again, I did not personally lay eyes on that complaint, but that is what I heard.
Yes, it became a little bit of a shouting match online about all this and the ethical business practices, and there was some fighting on various. It was our group, and it was other groups as well. There was some fighting going on. It's kind of weird that the fighting was occurring after the cons were over, as opposed to before. But I just think there's a lot of continuing hurt feelings about this, and stuff that probably could have and should have been resolved beforehand through conversation, but wasn't, and then here we are.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, talk about the spirit of Marked Out. You have promoters fighting, you have different shows competing with each other and insulting each other. Personally, I love it.
Oh, absolutely, I love it too. Who am I kidding?
But yes, and then moving on, Vinny with another, as we're still catching up on the Chiller Chill Out weekend. Vinny had a successful weekend at both Chiller and Chill Out. This was his first Chiller, bringing in a guest. He had a talent from Goodfellas that, I mean, I saw a handful of photo ops with them from other fans, so it seems like he did pretty well. He was in the gold room. And, I don't want to beat Chiller and Chill Out, to death here, because we've said everything there was to say, but Vinny had fun. He mentioned some of the hiccups in the floor plan and the different issues with the fire marshal. He's confident that Chill Out will iron them all out. And I honestly, this is the last report we have from last weekend, and I imagine this is all we will receive. And I think, honestly, fans are the big winners. I don't know how the shows did. I hope both shows were successful, because if the shows aren't successful, the fans aren't going to have the shows for long. You would imagine if basic laws of economics apply. So hopefully all shows were well attended and bottom lines were met. But I think fans were unquestionably winners. You had a nice, between the two lineups, that's probably the greatest weekend in Parsippany, New Jersey history as far as conventions go.
And talk about damning with faint praise. The greatest history the greatest weekend in the history of Parsippany, New Jersey. Thinking Tony Schiavone, the greatest nitro in the history of our great sport. It's pretty funny. Anyway, Vinny didn't just do that. He also he got Mike Myers, I guess. Michael Myers, the horror guy. But did you know about this Mike Myers event?
I did, and then I kind of pushed it from my mind because I just didn't. I don't know. He was there interviewing his brother Paul. There was no meet and greet involving Myers. But as Myers tends to do, he sort of took care of the crowd as best as he could. Vinny got 2 autographs, and he wasn't able to get the selfie. I saw several selfies. That's one of the trade-offs. You can sometimes, push for all the graphs and miss out on the selfie, or sort of punt on the graphs or one of the graphs and focus more on the selfie.
It's also really hard to kind of be mad about, and I'm not saying he was, but it's kind of hard to be mad about missing a selfie when you got 2 autographs.
See, I'm deranged. I would probably feel a little bit unfulfilled, which is largely why I seldom get 2 autographs in these settings, because I'll get 1, and then I'll try to get the selfie. Like with Ethan Hawke, I really should have just said, screw the selfie, and I would have gotten more autographs. But, I mean, unquestionably a successful time for Vinny.
Yeah, for sure. And then, Mike Myers is, probably someone who doesn't need the money, but would just do insane numbers at a con.
Yeah. I would love to see him do something. I think he would have a better shot than an Ed O'Neill, because he actually doesn't detest the fan. That's really what it comes down to. There's a lot of people at cons that don't really need the money. Kevin Nash, as an example, who they don't find it to be that it's not that objectionable work, and they're willing to do it. I think Myers is one of those guys that maybe, but he's definitely not common. And this was a huge hit. I probably should have done it. I don't even know. Did we ever talk about it? I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
I think I didn't even run it by you because it wasn't anything organized. And I know you've kind of retired your street meeting gear long ago.
Yeah, it's just hard. It's just hard to make the decision to go out there and do it. And honestly, it's not like I'm some huge fan or anything, but it's still cool to see these things. I did enjoy Vinny's report, and it was great that Vinny sent me a picture because Dave Foley, showing that Canadian pride, was in the audience. Did you catch that?
I did. I saw that.
Of course, I guess I've become rather infamous as a Kids in the Hall fanatic, and so it's always delightful to see one of the kids out and about, supporting a fellow Canadian or not.
You might be a Kids in the Hall groupie. Hopefully, you never sent them $7,000. But I mean, I think you're up there as far as groupies go. I'm right now sincerely hoping that you don't know what the word groupie means, but I don't mean it like that. I would never besmirch someone's name while they're in Switzerland like that.
I mean, a groupie has a very specific meaning, but anyway. There's really nothing.
All right, super fan. There we go.
Yeah, I am a super fan. And whenever I see one of the kids out in a different thing, it's always fun. Can we just call, because I find C-Rat to be such a weird sounding name. Can we call him Finless Sean?
That sort of sounds like some sort of a thing that like floats in the water. But sure.
Well, yeah, sort of. Well, he's finless. His son is away, but that didn't stop Sean from going to Saturday night's main event in Salt Lake City. A real jet setter, and he was able to do the fan experience, the VIP fan experience. And they brought out the usual suspects. It was Drew and Rusev and Tiffany Stratton and Penta. But he always has a great time with those. Of course, it's insane photo ops, insane seats. Great report always from Sean. And then he came back home and he met Devon. Did he go by Devon?
Well, I think Devon happened first. Yeah, Devon was the weekend before, but same difference. He was meeting and greeting both in New York and in Salt Lake City. And he got Devon at the K&S Sportatorium. And yeah, I mean, that was actually one of the bigger Saturday night main events, I think, since it's been resurrected. I think that's probably the one that sort of captured the early 90s the most, with actual things happening. We had the title change. And I think the most amusing part of the whole thing was Drew would not take photos in front of the CM Punk banner. He made everyone, he moved to a different part of the room to not have Punk in his photo.
Drew is consistently putting out the most entertaining stuff. He's just a total phenom. Love that guy.
Drew is amazing.
Rocking with Dan went out there and he met Chris Jericho. Jericho's pricing is one of those ones that has gone completely through the roof. To a point where I remember when, Jericho was $20 a night. I remember I met Jericho for free multiple times at various things. I remember one time he showed up with Fangoria to promote some stupid indie movie, and he was just free on anything you wanted. That was a long time ago, obviously. But now Jericho's $100 an item, $100 a photo, no combo. How do you feel about that as a price on Jericho?
I think it's high, but I think he probably has no trouble getting it. And I mean, I'll be completely honest. If I had talent at a show that you were able to sort of get 200 combo, essentially, I mean, why wouldn't you do it? So I don't begrudge him or anyone that represents him doing that. But I think it's it's definitely high. I'm glad I got my photos when I did. There's definitely a couple autos I could get. And Dan's comments, because at the end of the report, he mentioned how, despite the prices not being cheap, with his WWE return being one of the worst kept secrets right now, he is imagining his Fanatics Fest pricing would probably be slightly above where it's at now.
I'm going to be honest, I don't think that's the case.
I don't know. I know Fanatics Fest is reasonable in a lot of ways, but I don't think Jericho would be priced in like a Tiffany Stratton type of place. I think he would be in that higher tier.
Yeah, $99. That's what I think. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think he'd be right. I think he'd be right there in that zone. I think he'd have a hard time drawing above that with the amount that he's been around, and that's kind of the stage that he's in right now of his career.
That is fair.
I think it's high, but I guess he's another one. He saved his money. He doesn't really need it. It doesn't matter what he charges. So
yeah, this is the future of, as we keep saying, this Jericho's the kind of guy. Look at Bret Hart years ago when he was on Super Tickets. And now Chris Jericho is a super ticket in and of himself. $200. There it is. Like, that is the future. These guys are so well paid. These guys aren't degenerate drug addicts. And, well, I don't know. Jericho's not one of the... He's one of the more throwbacky ones as far as lifestyle.
Just pure alcohol.
Yeah. But they don't need money like that. So, like, this is what it comes down to. You are going to see a lot of these people, the bigger names that still choose to do them. They are charging what they're charging. They have no reason to compete or care or do anything. If they get it, they get it. If they didn't, he would just stop doing them altogether, I'm sure, and he'd be more than happy with that. But in other news, Rockin' with Dan was bouncing all around the state of Florida, and he went to Disney Springs to meet the official voice of Mickey Mouse, Brett Ewan.
I'm gonna be honest, I've never heard that name before in my life. Have you?
Actually, yes, he was. I don't know why that made me laugh. He was at Rhode Island last year. He was on my list, and then I didn't get him. And now I'm starting to have a little bit of FOMO. I didn't realize he did that many signings and stuff. So now, actually, I probably should have gotten him. I have some Mickey crap lying around I need signed.
What What voice of Mickey? The voice of Mickey Mouse in what? There's been like
Well, I think
100 voices of Mickey Mouse.
I think this is the current one. I think he's had a pretty long.
What?
I think he's had a
It
long.
makes sense.
Wait, let me see. Hold on.
This is really bizarre.
He does book illustrations. Why do I have to insult Mickey Mouse like this? But no, I think for the last number of years, he has been the one. He's not the longest, but he is the current one. So he's definitely valid. But I mean, it opens a whole can of worms. He's been the known voice since 2009. That's 16 years as Mickey Mouse. I mean, for a lot of kids, that's their entire lifetime. So he's definitely a valid voice of Mickey. But I mean, for me, it would depend. Like, if you get a Mickey thing signed from before that era, is that valid? I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I mean, it's like people that get the Disney World Mickey Mouse person in the suit to sign the figures. Like, is that valid? I don't know. They're taught the official Mickey Mouse autograph, but how do you get a valid Mickey Mouse autograph? Can you get one at a theme park? I don't know.
Yeah, this is honestly one of the reasons why I tend to stay away from all these types of names. I don't get it, but that's fine.
All right, and Class 316, he's finally discovered the Facebook group, I guess, and he is breaking the internet one crazy report at a time. This time, he sort of chronicled his pursuit of Carlos Santana. He had been rejected numerous times at airports and hotels, and finally he broke him down by being on the other side of a TSA gate. And Carlos and his wife sort of did the quick process through the security, whereas his security guard was, I guess, not hooked up with the same accommodations. While he was going through security, Class was essentially 2-on-1 with Carlos and Mrs. Carlos, and he got him. And my new favorite word, thanks to you, for the sort of the random people that walk into the reports and act completely flabbergasted, the interlopers were flipping out because Class didn't respect Carlos's initial no. Class went to places he shouldn't go. How does Class know the flight information? Which I agree, that is unquestionably creepy. I've been on the receiving end of flight information. I attempted once to procure flight information, which I was unsuccessful. Again, I'm not above it, absolutely not above it, but I'm also not delusional enough to not recognize the creepiness of it. It is creepy to be waiting at someone's flight. Imagine if someone was waiting for you in Zurich. How would you feel?
I mean, I would be kind of amusing, to be honest. But it's obviously it's very different if it's someone who,
That is true. Listen, my cousin actually lives in Switzerland. I may actually send her your flight info and have her harass you as you're getting out of town. See how you react. But did you get a chance to sort of read and see all the reaction while you've been jet setting?
No, I haven't seen anything. I've been completely off of everything.
Well, yeah. Believe me when I tell you, and catch up when you can, there was a lot. I mean, there were people that were praising him, but there was a lot of fury, and as far as people that are going to handle the criticism, it's definitely Class 316. He loves that stuff. He really does. He loves being sort of dragged, and hell, you could almost say he would be fine wearing a leash.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's well documented, actually.
Yes. If you don't believe me, ask to see the photos. Just expect to see a little more than you bargained for while he scrolls. And while you have been international, we received an international report. Jack joined the Facebook group all the way from Scotland, and he remarked that he discovered the podcast a little late in the game, but he has been binging, and he's been catching up on all the craziness that has transpired. And he also shared a report from around a month ago where he met Bill Murray on a golf course. And apparently Bill lost his ball in the rough, and he helped Bill and the caddy retrieve the ball. And the caddy, I guess, returned the favor and got Bill to sign the ball. And I'll tell you, that was a beautiful signature on a golf ball. That is a small surface. That is an unsmooth surface. Bill Murray spanked that golf ball probably better than he hit it, or else it wouldn't have been lost. But a tremendous score, and it's awesome to have a contributor now in our ranks from Scotland.
Yeah, so that we continue to add to our international presence. I love it.
Yes. And as we continue our weekly traditions, we had another Wednesday, which means more Wicked Ink. We had Lucas. He completed his original promo from the Family Matters. From Family Matters, not The Family Matters. He added Reginald Vell Johnson to it at Chiller, which is the coup de grace, so to speak. He got Jaleel White on it at Pandora's Box, which I'm still annoyed that we couldn't do that due to WrestleCon commitments. And he also added both Bushwhackers, Luke and Butch, who luckily signed it before Butch died.
Yeah, listen, it's a great looking piece, and maybe it was worth sacrificing Butch's life for it. I'm not sure, but that's something I guess we can debate.
So wait, does that make Lucas the original Bushwhacker Whacker?
Oh God!
Listen, I tease him killing the Bushwhacker, but listen, I would have killed the Bushwhacker gladly if I went and traveled up there and had the opportunity. So I mean, listen, people die every day. At least he got the stuff done. In other news,
it's true. At least it got done. At least it got done.
Yes, I mean, I'll never have my stuff complete, which sucks. All right, number 2, we have. I guess with this one, he's not Finless Sean. We can call him just Sean or C-Rat. He had his Bad Blood turnbuckle pad signed by CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. And I don't want to beat anyone over the head with wrestling commentary, but that is probably on the Hell in a Cell Mount Rushmore. So that is a great match to sort of immortalize on a piece like that. And then keeping this week on the group, we had a lot of Turnbuckle 2007 love. First of all, for this segment, Ira posted his Turnbuckle 2007 event poster, which I had one and I sold it. And seeing Ira post it, I felt a little twinge of FOMO that maybe I should have kept it. But we actually have a question that ties into this exact scenario a little later. Stay tuned to see if that is the item I regret selling. But in other Turnbuckle 2007 news, Class 316 posted a flashback report with not much of a flashback because the guy's brains are scrambled and he's fried and remembers nothing. So he just basically posted the event and the year and then did a giant photo dump. And it's funny, I was looking through his photos. I don't even remember Marty Jannetty being there. I don't think I got him there. I don't know. That shows the disorganization and the mayhem of that show. Where, and I saw Mike Simon made that comment on his report, where many of us did the exact same show with the exact same ticket and have different stuff because it was kind of impossible to do everything due to how crazy it was. But yes,
yeah, this is one of those shows I'll never be able to fully appreciate how crazy it was. I just wasn't there, and so I can only hear and live vicariously through all those stories.
Yes, I agree. And for our second weekly tradition, we had Photo with Friday. Photo number 1 comes from Jan with Matt Damon. Matt Damon was in the city this week doing that same. It's still for that same charity, I believe, that dealt with that Scarlett Johansson did that event to save that theater. I believe Matt Damon was in town doing something for that same charity, and Matt Damon kept, he's true to his philosophy, kept sort of driving his autograph value into the ground by excessively signing, which is a beautiful thing for the fans. And a lousy thing for the dealers, which, is kind of a good thing. Secondly, as they say, you can pick your nose and you can also pick your own photos for Photo with Friday. And today I picked myself. I picked Jamie Lee Curtis to celebrate Halloween. And honestly, Jamie Lee Curtis at Bookends, and she also did a Barnes & Noble in Manhattan. That was really a moment in time. I don't think it gets the credit for obvious reasons that like Bruce Springsteen gets and other big events. But for people out here, if you want a consenting photo with Jamie Lee Curtis, that's where you should have been. She did that one Horror Hound. I know people are thinking maybe she'll do that. Like there's supposed to be some Halloween reunion thing in Pasadena, I think. Next year, perhaps. I forget when it's happening. and people keep speculating that maybe she'll do that. But I mean, if you want Jamie Lee Curtis, you really had to have been there.
Right, it's true.
And in the spirit of picking our own photos, I also picked, which honestly, you must have really talked this photo up on the air quite a lot, because you got a lot of likes. Your photo with John Cena from GNC with the steel chair in frame that you menaced Danica McKellar with.
Menaced. I guess it was menacing if you really think about it. I can't even deny it.
I mean, she can't stand on the same side as a Christmas tree of someone. Seeing a man with a chair waiting for her, I mean, to any normal person, it's fine. But to someone like her, it's probably frightening. So, oh well. But yeah, that was another moment in time. I mean, talk about a great free signing where you could return that. I guess the reason I'm not a picture of fitness right now is because I returned. That was a crossroads in my life. I could have kept that product of all that protein powder, and I could be sitting here right now jacked, but I got my money back, and here I am.
I think it's funny because I forget someone had asked me, like, why don't I tell the story? But I feel like we did tell it at length, so maybe they just
I don't know.
Remember, I don't know. That's the infamous Danica McKellar day. So in case maybe someone just forgot, that's that day. It was honestly that GNC signing. It ranks, man. That was a great, fantastic signing. It was the outstanding price of free after we returned that big tub of shit. And it was great. I wonder where that 8x10 even went. I see in my shot, if you look at my photo, you can see there's the signed 8x10. I don't know where it is, man. I could have sold it years ago. It could have gotten lost or ruined or...
Something tells me it's got a lot of mildew on it right now.
It's definitely not down there. It's definitely not there.
All right. And in con ad news, not a hell of a lot, but we got a little bit. Monster Mania adds Juliette Lewis, who you named, I believe, on the air as one of your great regrets in life of getting her. That kind of made you spiral into some whole feeling of like regret and just not feeling good about yourself. So Juliette is back. And Black Phone stars Madeline McGraw and Jeremy Davies, which means one thing and one thing only. I will have to bring my freshly christened Ethan Hawke 11x14 Black Phone poster and add them. I mean, they are like them and the main kid, who I still need after this. That's the main four. So, I mean, I at least need to get them on it. And have you ever watched The Black Phone?
No.
You've given up on horror. You're not a horror fan anymore.
Hey, most horror movies are pretty stupid, honestly. I watched something. What did I watch not that long ago? It was an indie horror movie, but I can't remember it. It was all right. Shoot. It was about a guy who he was a serial killer and he's kind of dead, but he comes back. Like it was almost like The Ring. Or The Grudge.
Sounds like Dexter.
No. He's dead, but he still haunts people. He haunts people and like makes them kill themselves. It's with the phone. If they watch like this video on his phone, the video of him killing himself on his phone.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
What the hell is it called? I forget. I have to go into my Netflix log and figure it out.
But in any case, you've largely given up on horror movies. You really should watch The Black Phone before Oaks.
Should I?
Yes, because what if you miss them and you need them then?
I'll live. I think I'll live.
You never know. All right, Steel City Con adds Geezer Butler and Toy Newkirk. Though that's probably the weirdest names in one announcement I've ever said on this show. But yes, they are added. I think this is a really good lineup, but luckily I'm not feeling compelled to go because I think honestly at this point they could add God himself and I wouldn't go. Oh no, I just tempted the combo gods now. Something's gonna happen. They're gonna add somebody, but I have no interest in going, so I don't think I care.
Yeah, no, it's not happening for me. I actually got Toy Newkirk, if you could believe it, at Chiller in like 08 or 09.
I'll be completely honest. I have no clue who that is. You gave me a brief synopsis of what they were. I got to do my own research. Yeah, it is what it is. In other con news, a new convention has crossed my sort of purview of consciousness here. CT Horror. They have moved from the Hartford location to a much more convenient Stamford location, which I mean, maybe not much more convenient, but a little more convenient. And they have added Nicholas King, who is basically the big bad in Sinister. And in my opinion, Sinister is the scariest horror movie I've ever seen. The jump scares are truly terrifying. I love that movie. And this is in August, and a lot can happen between now and then, but I've actually added it to my Apple calendar because I want Nicholas King, and the trip to Stanford ain't too bad. It's easier than Cherry Hill. So it is on my radar.
The hits keep on coming, don't they?
Yes.
What else do we have? Rhode Island is just firing off the cancellations. Like it was the purpose of their con was just announce names only to cancel them. They canceled Grant Gustin, Freddie Prinze. I mean, these are major draws for the show that were canceled. Grant Gustin's a huge draw and was canceled. Freddie Prinze cancels again. When does Freddie Prinze make a freaking con? I don't understand it.
He's busy working. He's recording and filming all these things that no one ever sees. He's very busy. And also the voice of Princess Tiana has canceled. We are up to 13 cancellations, but let's not act like this is really too different from the norm of Rhode Island. This is kind of what they do. They have like a giant lineup, and they always end up with like 15 or so cancellations. I think this year they may be a little bit more impactful. For example, you have a Flash reunion without the Flash. You have a Kevin Smith's universe reunion without Kevin Smith. That sucks. That's bad. I'm not personally affected because I was not getting any of that. But I mean, if you're a Flash fan and you were coming out to meet or get, God forbid you wanted to group up, this is a hell of a lot less cool than it was a month ago. And I mean, Freddie Prinze, I don't know. I think Freddie Prinze at this point has done less harm than Katie Seagal did when she was sort of like blacklisted for a while. How many times can you cancel and you show up nowhere?
I don't get it. I don't understand what the point of being continuously booked is.
I mean, I would have to hope and assume he has good faith intentions of coming. I don't know. I don't know what it means. And he was announced at a different con the same week he was canceled for this con, which makes it hilarious. He was announced for, let me check my notes. He was announced for Houston Nostalgia Con in April. I'm sure he's going to cancel that as well. I don't usually pay attention to Nostalgia Con, but I think I will now just because I am genuinely curious to see what's going to happen. And while there were big subtractions, there were also additions. Your good buddy Marissa Tomei, she has been added. She will be back. She will be there to sneer and snarl and scowl at the people. But I will always give Marissa Tomei credit because she is very, very honest. She is the only person who straight up told an autograph seeker who asked her for a photo op, "No, you are too fat." That was the answer she gave the grapher. And not many celebrities, I'm sure a lot of people that say no will think such an awful thing, but she said it. And at least with my type of personality, there is some level of respect for someone's blunt honesty to say something like that. So you are an awful person, Marissa, but at least you are genuine. And they also added Killer Cross and Scarlet, who honestly I think have had that whole We Want Cross movement that kind of fizzled out. I don't hear people crossing. I don't really see much happening. I think a lot of people thought he would be back in the fold by now. I'm thinking he may never be back in the fold.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I really don't know.
Well, listen, if you're in the market for Killer Cross items at a price much less than what he's charging on the convention scene right now, check us out. Hit me up. I got a couple left, and I am not necessarily trying to hold on to them. So, I mean, buyer's market.
Indeed. So, if you're shopping for autographs, check out www.markdowncollectibles.com or our eBay store at Marked Out Collectibles. To contact us for any reason, no reason at all, or something you may find unjustifiable, maybe later on you find a good reason for it, email markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com or join the Marked Out autograph collecting community on Facebook. All links are in the show notes on Facebook and Substack. And if you want your event, product, or brand advertised on episodes of Marked Out Radio, reach out to us today, markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com. Also, please subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcast and leave a rating and or review. You can leave a rating or review on Apple Podcast. You can leave a rating on Spotify. Or you can leave a comment, a thumbs up, or a thumbs down on YouTube. So let's get to the questions. We have some more questions from the mailbag. Let's just jump right in. So we have two remaining from the grab bag, or the mailbag. It's not a grab bag, it's a mailbag. I know I've said multiple times grab bag. I'm not sure why. The first is from Finless Sean. Sean, I don't even know, man. I got to come up with a good name. I just can't use sea rat because when I think of sea rat, I think of like a wet rodent, and then he is not a wet rodent, so I don't know. Anyway, he asked what piece you have sold that you most regret. So you should go first, since you feel things like regret.
That is true. Let me go back. There's probably a more nostalgic answer, but honestly, I've not sold a ton of things that I really could be nostalgic for. That's my own hobby hoarding tendencies, where I don't sell much. That's like probably my greatest fear in the hobby, is to sort of get rid of something that you're going to really regret. But back at the sort of the peak of COVID, when the Facebook marketplace, the sales were on fire, back when you could literally go on eBay to a reputable source like American Icons and buy, which this will be the item I select. I purchased a 16 by 20, much like a lot of the other vendors. It was a 16 by 20 NWO formation shot from Bash at the Beach when they're being pelted with garbage. And this was triple signed by Hollywood, by Scott, and by Kevin. And back in this day with COVID, you would have vendors, they would go on, and I hope I'm not blowing their spots up, but it's been like 5 years, so I think the statute of limitations is up. Vendors would go on eBay, they would go to American Icons and other reputable sources that still kind of had eBay pricing going on, like pre-COVID pricing. And you would buy that for, I think I paid like $129 for that, triple sign. And they would sell them on a Facebook Live auction for like $300, $400, $500, whatever. Because you'd have bidding wars. And I'm not saying this to throw shade. I'm saying this with like reverence and respect. I still regret that we didn't get this whole marked out like media empire off the ground during COVID, and that we weren't on there slanging crap during on the virtuals, because that was a moment in time. So anyway, I bought that for a very good price. And then I reached a point where I'm like, 16 by 20, it's too big. What am I going to do with this? And I sold it for a profit, but I think I sold it for like $200. I think Scott was still alive. Hulk definitely was. And I sold it. And oh well, whatever. I reinvested the money into other stuff. I was fine with it. Then the prices jumped. Scott Hall died. Hulk Hogan died. And now that print is like $600 on eBay. Does it sell often at that price? Not really, but that's where they're sitting. And if I had one still, that's where I'd have it sitting as well. I don't blame them. And I regret it. I wish I still had it at some point. The good news is, unlike some regrets, I could just part with the cash at some point and buy it back. Not the exact same one, but who cares? I could get the exact same type of print again. Just blowing all my profits out the water and admitting I was a moron to sell it when I did. I could make good on this, but I'm attempting to never do so, because why? I don't need it.
No, it makes sense.
How about you? I know you don't really feel regret for anything, but is there anything that you feel was so cool that you could have made people jealous with a little bit longer?
I would say my winged eagle belt, just because I know that it's a super rare item, and even the other ones that are out there don't look as good as mine, and or mine did. That was one that it was an item that is irreplaceable. I was happy to get the money. I was happy to sell it when I did, but the idea that I can never get it back is it's something that it eats away at me a little bit. There is no replacing it. I can't. There were other things I sold. I'm like, maybe whatever. But that's one thing. It's irreplaceable, and I got rid of it, and I'll never get it back. And let me tell you, if you've seen it, and there are a bunch of people from the board, from the group who've seen it, you know how special it was. It was unique. It was really, really, really nice compared to the other ones out there. So I hope whoever has it enjoys it. But that's the one that I'm like, that I really need to sell that. They didn't need to. I was chasing that high, but
Yeah, I mean that would have been the showpiece that I would have argued that you should have had, in a case somewhere in your living room, so all your family and friends could have been wowed by the winged eagle. And I know exactly what you're saying. I got that one from that collection purchase that I absolutely love. But I mean, it's missing a couple people that you had. It's not in great condition. Yours was like pristine. It's completely different. I'm sure you had the signatures a little more planned, like with the more elite ones and the premier locations. Something that's done truly as a showpiece in terms of how it's put together is something you really can't replicate, especially when the people are dead and you can't do it again. So I hear you on that. But here you are still selling stuff. Because I would like to say that did this make you sort of rethink your process of chasing that high?
Not in any way. Not in any way. Not in any way. Because what do I, at the end of the day, when I see it, I regret it in like some abstract, like intellectual way, but I don't really care that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you probably didn't really think about it until this question was asked. So.
Right, that's my point. There is some like conceptual, theoretical regret, but not in any meaningful way. At the end of the day, it's gone, and I'll get other things to replace it. And it's just a thing. There's plenty of things out there, and you can't take them with you. So that's kind of how I am towards this stuff. I like it. But I'm not obsessed in that like fundamental way. It's fine. I'm okay with not having it. No meaningful regrets like that. The other question is a little bit more challenging to answer. It comes from my brother. I believe he was asking it just to troll me. He asked it on YouTube. Just to troll me. He wanted to know how much money we've spent on the hobby. And I have we were discussing this a little bit before we went on the air. And I just know that your internal math is nowhere near where it should be.
Well, listen, my internal math, I think, is where I need it to be for my own sanity. I spitballed to you. I spitballed like, I don't know, what did I say, $20,000 or $30,000, which sounds in and of itself crazy.
I think you spent $20,000 or $30,000 a year.
No, I couldn't. I can't. Do I?
I have your expense reports for on certain things. You realize that, right?
True. That's not good.
Yeah.
Crap. Yeah. I mean, well, keep in mind some of the expenses are like, business related.
Obviously.
It's not straight up just hedonism of me just indulging all my wildest fantasies for like 35-year-old action figures and stuff.
Right.
So, where do you sort of pinpoint your number?
It's well into the six figures. Well.
Jeez. Yeah, I mean, I must be right there with you because, I mean, I've done some pretty big and ridiculous things that you haven't done. So, like, all those Monster Manias and Chillers and stuff that I didn't do back when the convention prices weren't that high, me doing a Johnny Depp and several other big meet and greets like that you didn't. I mean, I'm blowing those cons out the water, tenfold. I did the Jared Leto one, that was pretty pricey. You didn't do that one. There's a lot I did that you didn't do. So, I mean, any conventions you have over me, nothing in comparison.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what I'm looking at. I'm just that's what I think those are my numbers. I think it's well into the six figures. I think probably somewhere between 100 and 200,000. If we're going all the way back to 07. When but at the peak of cons, at the peak of the cons, it was over 1,000 a month. Just think about that during peak con years.
Yeah, and listen, the scary part is And I'm not going to go putting anyone's business in the streets here, because I mean, people have family members to sort of face with the realization that you've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. You could have had a vacation home in, like, South Carolina somewhere for the money you spent meeting famous people. But I mean, the people that we know really well, that we see at all of these shows, that wherever we're at, they are there too. They're not far from it either. I mean, we're all this entire, like, inner sanctum of this crazy hobby. I mean, this is sort of a reality I think we all kind of have to face. Maybe you and I are closer to, like, let's say 200,000, which sounds ridiculous to say. Maybe others are closer to 100. But I mean, none of these people we know really well and see all the time, none of them are sort of scot-free here. We're all spending big bank doing these shows.
I think that's kind of the situation that we're in, and it becomes once you get, I think the truth, what makes this hobby so crazy is the addicting cycle of it. That once you get locked into the addicting, like, oh, what's next? Well, there's the next month of things, and then it becomes what the hell. How did I get locked into spending 6 months out? You're already thinking about how many thousands you're going to spend at Fanatics. And it just continues to go like that. I always say every year, there's no way that I can continue this because there's not enough people. But here we are. It just happens, and part of that is honestly because of the pricing. It was a hell of a lot. It was a hell of a lot harder to rack up huge bills when you're spending $20 a person, $20 an item. You go to Monster Mania, you get 10 guests, it's $200. I used to go to get 10, 20 guests, it was a couple $100. Now it's a couple thousand. So it's just part of the game, And at least, in a way, buying autographs, I'm not going to say it's more worth it than buying photo ops, but at least, when I want to sell it off, I can and get something out of it. The photo ops is depressing as you get nothing out of it. It's terrible.
I mean, you get the enjoyment and the clout, but
whatever the hell that is.
Listen, it matters to people. I assume, myself included. I guess I don't think of it like that, but like I admitted the other week, someone dies, I post a photo. I mean, don't think I was racing to sort of pay tribute to Abe Vigoda. I had to show everybody. Guess what? I met Abe Vigoda. Be very jealous of me because I mean, meeting Abe Vigoda is a very enviable moment in life that only the select few of us were lucky enough to do.
Yeah, that's very true. It is very true. So I don't know if those answers are satisfying, but those are the answers. They're real. And
I'm not satisfied.
Yeah, I know.
I think you have a better chance. You have a better chance of sort of stopping the spending a little bit, because as I've said, you're in a weird spot where you don't really consume that much new stuff. It seems maybe you do, but not the stuff you don't like. Are you gonna watch Welcome to Derry on HBO Max?
I did pirate the first episode, but I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, because for me now, there's gonna be a whole bunch of new kids and adults I need from that damn show. So that's going to be several Monster Mania's worth of people I'm excited about, because they're all going to do the cons. So for me, every time there's a new movie or new this or new that, that list grows. So I mean, hell, I might be talking to the ghost of you in 40 years on this podcast. I'm not trying to kill you off prematurely, but I mean, I think I'll be burning money in this hobby longer than you will be.
Yeah, you're very well probably right. I am resistant to consuming new stuff.
And I think the sick part is that's in part because you don't want to spend the money on new ones.
Yeah, that's not really true. Because even when I watch new things, I really got into that stupid show, Yellow Jackets, but I wouldn't go chasing the cast, or stuff like that. I'm pretty selective, I think. More, I don't know. Why do I even try and make these pronouncements? Because it's not even true.
You're more selective than I am, I think, typically.
Yeah, it's true.
That's not saying much, though.
No, not at all. So, what do we have coming up? Sorry, I'm really drifting here.
You are Switzerland's kicking your ass.
It's 1:15 in the morning over here. Just so you understand that, I've been up all day. 5 a.m. I got up. So I'm closing in on 24 hours here. We have Rhode Island next weekend. We are going to do that show. If I told you that I had made, we're actually planning to do this show as a preview of Rhode Island, and I don't even have a budget. I don't even know who I'm getting. I have to figure that out this week. I have no idea. It's bad. It's a bad situation.
Yeah, so we have Rhode Island, and the hotel is booked. We will be coming to you next week live from the lack of sunshine state. I don't think I've ever had the sun hit me in Rhode Island. Maybe once. It's almost always gray. Except for that one year, it was like 85 degrees, and we were sure the world was ending.
Yeah. So I remember that one time. Well, the one time we were there, it was so cold that I wanted to die. And then the other time was like ridiculously warm. It's very erratic over there. And I think it's been getting warmer each November. So I'm hoping for a warm weekend, honestly, but we'll see. And then Thanksgiving week, we have Oaks. I'm excited to finish my Robert Patrick. I forgot what I was going to say.
Laser disc. Terminator.
Yeah, exactly. So that's going to be fun. And then big event is going to be great. We were recently in contact with the boys, and they're excited to do the show. We made a bunch more sales. Every week these guys are getting bigger, and there it is. So I'm excited to see them.
Yep. All the guys are in contact. They will be there. They are excited. Emily J is always ready. Not to steal Cardona's gimmick, but she is always ready to. She's built for meet and greets. She really is. I'm actually excited to see what fans are going to bring her. What types of drinks and food she will solicit via stories and stuff, and see how quick people bring the stuff to her. I'm gonna have to tease her repeatedly this a big event about that, because I expect to see some stuff coming her way, because it's just funny. I pulled the print order was made. So the Swerve, the Goldberg, they're done. If you're in, you're in. If you're out, you're out. The people that made their orders, their prints have been ordered. You are in. You are good to go. If you didn't make the order yet, well, what were you waiting for, pal? The Jackson, Brad, Ricky, and Emily, those prints, a lot of the prints we were offering were sort of the old ones from other signings. I basically kept up the prints that we have on hand that we printed and the ones that were popular in this round of sales. There are some prints that we offered that really got very little traction because we've offered them twice before. Those I have deleted from the listing. So if you see prints you can't order, that is why. I don't want to have to do an 11th hour print order. So that is what we have on hand is what is available. The other stuff has sold out. And lock your stuff in. I don't want to put anyone's news in the streets, but I mean, things I've been hearing, things are looking really good, really promising for these guys. We will not have them out again. So.
Well, let's just be very clear. I don't want you're right. Putting their news out is not our news to break, but let's just we can say this: at least one of the guys coming this week has already relocated. Okay, not this week, but it's a big event. At least one of the guys coming to the big event has already relocated, and so that's not an accident. And you can imagine, you can read between the lines and imagine where Florida, where he has relocated to. And so this is happening. Get these guys now before you regret it. There's no other way to say it. The fact that it's such a weird thing that we have this coup. In a way that we have these guys. I know. I guess it was putting faith in them before anyone else did gets us these bookings, which we did, and that gets them to answer our texts and no one else's. But I'm excited. I'm excited for big event, but also it makes me sad that this is it.
Yeah, and let's put it out there while we're talking about this. WWE ID, they announced upcoming people. And as of now, these are not people that are anywhere near us geographically speaking. So I don't honestly know what the in-person aspect of Marked Out Collectibles really looks like after this month. These guys were perfect in the sense they are blue chippers on, blue chip on blue chip, top tier prospects that were a drive away for us. So we were able to sort of believe in them early, invest in them early, and not to toot our own horn, but what we talked about right now, we had one of the guys hit us up, and absolutely we're taking care of them. Any changes that need to be made to sort of accommodate life's roller coaster ride. When you do good business and you sort of invest and believe in people early on before anyone else really has, you sort of build these relationships where you're able to do this. And I mean, I don't have 3 more guys in mind like these 3 that I can say, oh, well, these guys are up next for us. I don't see that right now. We will be looking for that, believe me. And just because people relocate to other sunnier places doesn't necessarily mean that our dealings with them stop. But it does mean that you're probably not going to see them with us in Brentwood, Long Island, and be able to get a group photo op with these guys for the price that we're offering it for. So while we are sort of finding our next investments, take advantage of this one while you can. Because we talked about regret. You don't want to regret this. You do not want to regret this. And we try to be very fair and good to the customers. But as these guys rise in the ranks, the prints we have left, guess what? Those prices are going up, pal. We're not charging you the indie rate when they're on Raw. When they're on WrestleMania, we're not charging you the price we're charging when they're doing, Beyond Wrestling in whatever state that's happening at. So these prices are going up. So get those orders in. Come on down. Meet the boys while you can. And Emily J., who I think will be on TV before long.
I agree. No other way to say it. So once again, if you're shopping for autographs, check out www.markedoutcollectibles.com or our eBay store at Marked Out Collectibles. To contact us for any reason, email markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com or join the Marked Out autograph collecting community on Facebook. Again, get the orders in for the 3 boys if you want them.
And Emily.
Sorry, Emily. So I think we're good to go tonight. I can put the equipment away, get to bed. Even though I got to be up in 3.5 hours. This is the life on the road when you're trying to do a lot of things at once. It's good. It's fun out here, but I'm also eager to get home. I'm actually going to be. I don't know if I even told you this. I will be tomorrow climbing the highest point in Europe. Tomorrow will be the highest altitude, the highest mountaintop. It's a glacier, actually, in Europe. So, yeah, that'll be tomorrow.
After facing how much money you spent on this hobby, I don't have to worry about you, right? You're not feeling any kind of way where you might not make it down, or at least not make it down gracefully.
Listen. If I fall, I'll be snow tubing up there. So I'll just in theory snow tube and careen off the edge. So if you read about me on the news, that's what happened.
Oh no, that wouldn't be good. By the way, what would you do right now if you checked the thing and it wasn't recording and we had to do this all over again?
I would just say we're skipping this one.
Don't worry, guys. We are recording.
Oh man, it's actually been great. It's been great over here so far, and I do look forward to. And in a weird way, even though I said I was complaining, but I do look forward to Rhode Island. Rhode Island's a fun show, man. It just is. There's a really fun. There's a fun energy to it. Although, honestly, I'm going to be very candid. The vendors mostly blow. They're frustrating. There's a lot of just garbage vendors there.
How about Roadkill?
Oh, you mean the wrestler?
Yeah.
Listen, total nobody with a nobody booth. I never whatever. I know now I'm tired, so now I'm more inclined to say bad stuff about people.
Yeah, I want to get you to shoot on Roadkill. Come on, say
I have no thoughts about the guy. He didn't do anything. He's barely a blip on anything.
I thought I might get a pawn shop level rant about Roadkill.
Although, what's funny is on my TikTok feed, I've been getting these videos of chiropractors. Have you been getting the ones where the chiropractor goes to fix the old lady and then grabs her and throws her out the window instead? Have you seen?
I saw it because you sent it to me.
But there are other ones. Now there's a new trend with the chiropractic ones where the chiropractor is trying to fix his fat guy and he goes to crack his back and then a log of crap pops out of his pants. Oh, it's so funny. There's so many of them now. I'm on chiropractor talk of all things. So, but listen, I get a lot of these videos.
I stand with chiropractors.
Okay.
But no, Rhode Island is always a fun show. I am excited for it. I'm also convinced. I don't buy all this professional stuff that you're talking about, why you're in Switzerland. I think you're just on a sneak of all sneaks, stalking the airport for Claudio Castagnoli.
Oh man, let me tell you, I wish I was doing something other than what I'm doing right now. It's so funny. Like when I was planning this, I was like, yeah. Well, we're gonna record when I'm away, and I actually thought this was like a doable thing. I mean, I guess we did it in the sense that it's over, but I still have to. I'm not gonna lie. I'm going to bed right now. I'm not gonna export this thing just yet and like do all the downloads and stuff. But this is this is a much harder thing to do than I thought. And we were scheduled to record next week and the week after, both in alternate locations. So we really we're setting ourselves up for some wild times here.
And yes, you're almost on 24 hours of no sleep, and just to sort of bring it on home, I'm missing 26 minutes right now of the Knick game. So I mean, we're all making sacrifices.
Yeah, I realize here I am. It's like right now it's 1:30 in the morning. And you're like at 6:30?
7:30. I'm about to have dinner and watch the Knicks. So I mean, let's go.
All right. With that, for markedout.com, Marked Out Collectibles, and Marked Out Radio, I'm Sean.
I'm Dana.
And I would have something funny in Swiss German to say, but I didn't bother looking it up. So we'll see you next week.